everybody, sorry for the bit of a delay. We had to do some minor behind the scene adjustment. But thank you and welcome to the Great Restoration channel for episode 3 of Victorian Vigilante. Uh, Joining us again is the usual cast as you see, except unfortunately this director due to some minor health concern. But we wish him very prompt recovery. We're gonna miss him tonight. And maybe some people may keep some coin more in their pockets. Um, no, but all joke aside, this director, we hope that you feel better soon. It sucks to be sick, so you will be missed. Um, so, before we get started with this episode, we do have a few minor little announcement. First and foremost, as you can still see on top, we are still raising money for the Advancing Justice of Asian Law Caucus. So you can do exclamation mark donate in the chat in order to be able to bring you that link to that campaign. Second announcement, if you have seen our social media, Twitter, if you're not following us, you can just do exclamation mark socials and it will give you a link. We announced two things today. I think we did announce two things. No, only one thing. My bad. It's been a week. We announced our upcoming event at the end of April 24th and 25th, which will mark more or less the 1 year anniversary of the channel. And what's better way to celebrate that than doing a charity stream, which was exactly what we did the first time we were here. It was for a charity event, 2 days, because why not? Madness, somebody never streamed before, let's do this. So yeah, this year we'll be supporting the Terror Project. The schedule and all that has yet to be announced, but stay tuned. It should be coming up in the probably next week. I have all my GM and all that, and we're just working a few things when it comes to the cast. But yeah, please stay tuned for, and hopefully we can see y'all on April 24th, 25th. There's gonna be many awesome one-shots, plenty of good DMs, some familiar faces that you may have seen before here. So yeah, that's gonna be awesome. Last but not least, in terms of announcement, if you do in the chat exclamation DHD, that will bring you a little message for a link for Die Hard Dice. They're currently having a new set, the Avalar set, and all the proceeds of that set goes to the AAPI community. And I mean, not only the sets are extremely pretty, and buying a set is always a good thing to do. We just love shiny click-clacks, but by doing so, you actually help a good cause. So why not do that at the same time? And while you're doing that, if you do exclamation dice in the chat, it's gonna bring you a link to the first set that we have as Dice Affiliate with Die Hard Dice, which is a Kelpie dice, and you can get 10% off your order. Might as well do two bird one stone and get both set and save money, help a good cause, and help us a little bit, because you never have too many dice. So yeah, I think that is all with our quick announcement, at least on my part. I don't think that my cast need further introduction, because it's week 3. You all know them, you all love them. But because one of them is an amazing content creator, and they just finished Critical March with awesome food. I absolutely have to shout them out. There you go. Look at that, I did not mess that up. So yeah, if you don't follow the French Duck on Twitch for awesome cooking, baking Twitch stream, what are you doing? So without further ado, unless my fellow cast member have an awesome cool thing that they may be working on and they wish to announce, well, in this case I think we're gonna roll up or intro video. And see you soon.
We interrupt this program in order to bring you news about the ongoing situation in our eastern colonies and news on the conscription bill recently introduced into the House of Commons. And now back to our regular scheduled programming.
And we are back. So, where we left off last session, our group of intrepid investigator while tracking the missing Doyle children, spending a night, thinking on their things. Some of them putting the word out on their research through their multiple contacts. Have gathered again in front of the pub. And doing so, they're now currently heading to my jeez, it's been a week. They headed to the following location, following the threads that were led along the way. By doing so, they went in the St. Giles area to the True Pat Church. There, they were able to view the prayer and service held here in this. I mean, calling it a church is, a broad term. It's more of a warehouse type of deal with, that has been recycled with pewter and a big old cross in front. It served its purpose, I suppose. Finishing the service, as the flock was leaving the establishment, they've met the Reverend as he was approaching. Tall gentleman, long dark hair, fine feature, a bit of a severe face. Is approaching them. Hello, children. What can I do for you? I'm Reverend Matson.
Pleasure to meet you, Reverend. We were hoping to speak with you about the Doyles, and specifically the Doyle children.
And you can see as soon as you mention the name, his face, not, I would say, tense up, but definitely show a bit of. He's less pleased by, you know exactly what we're talking about, and when you bring up the name of somebody after that person had shit experience with them. That's pretty much the face that he's making. He's hiding it fairly well, but some of you are fairly insightful individuals, and can probably just read a glimpse of oh yeah, them.
You understand that they are one of the most treasured guests. Yeah, been some history. Um, but just trying to track them down for some other questions we had. Have they been bothered recently to you?
Well, I mean, it's been a few weeks, and I mean, to be honest, I usually welcome all to my church. Although I know exactly what you're talking about, and they've been less than the amicable guests in this house, if I may say, when they came last time, disturbing the service, even like having the audacity to call me a fraud in front of my flock as I was
There.
performing.
Now, was it just these? Was it just the two children, or were they in a group? You know how numbers can embolden the youth. Were they on their own causing trouble, just the two, or were they amongst similar ilk?
Oh, well, it wasn't just them. They were actually in company of. I mean, calling him a friend is a member of my church, Mr. Harrington. Came with came with them.
They were his guests.
From my understanding, that's what their agreement was on.
Sorry, this is me not being able to hear. What's the Mr. Who?
Harrington. Do you want me to?
Harrington.
Do you want me to spell it for your notes?
I'll message you later.
All right.
So this Mr. Harrington is he a frequent member of your flock, or has he since parted ways with the children such a problem?
I mean, he's been frequent member of this church, coming here on occasion. Obviously, not to every service, but we had a few previous encounter with the man.
And,
But no,
was he here today, or could you tell us where he might be found on
no.
any general information?
As much as I hate turning people away from my door, since our last encounter, Mr. Harrington is no longer welcome in this establishment.
It's understandable. But you have no idea where he hangs his hat or might frequent for a drink.
I mean,
Anything that
honestly,
might have.
knowing the man, you can just probably find him either at the bottom of a pit or at your local whorehouse. Anywhere in between.
See. And he's the only individual with whom the children are associated.
I mean, to my knowledge, I do believe that they're following that they were going to see some kind of performance at a local theater, but at least that's what one of my church associate mentioned to me following the events.
Does he seem believable? I mean,
You
again,
can,
I'm not the one with the empathy, but just to the
yeah,
ladies, you seem to be believing him.
is a fairly difficult art to read individual just because he's very stoic. But you can certainly, if you're trying to see if he's telling true, you can certainly roll empathy.
This
Zero.
isn't.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Uh,
Ooh, 2 successes.
one successes. Oh, for possible one successes.
Yeah. He's very, even direct, but very truthful in his words. He's careful in what he's saying, but it just may be his general demeanor.
Makes sense
No,
for a priest.
exactly. He's being very, he's every word he's saying, he's saying, with purpose. But from what you can tell, he's very truthful, and yeah, he really does not appear to be pleased with the Doyle children and Mr. Harrington based on their most recent visit. I mean, I've heard, him going to various establishment. Uh,
Is Mr. Harrington of dwarvish heritage?
Mr. Harrington is indeed of dwarvish heritage.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's helpful.
That person, speaking about the plays, are they here, or did they mention the name of the theater?
Sorry, you cut it a bit for me, my friend. What did you say?
Is the parishioner who was able to tell you about the children and their intention to visit a playhouse, theater of some sort, is that parishioner here, or did they mention the name of the theater or even the show?
Oh, yes. One moment, and you can see it turn around. Mr. Monty, could you please come here? And you see like this, little a scrawny little piece of a man, uh, completely bald with a little mustache, just with his little coat and pretty much well kept, well close to him, like it's the kind of individual that you will see in the street and be like, yeah, that dude is a bit shifty, a bit olive skin, and it comes to you with a little Irish accent, which I'm not gonna do because I will butcher it and I will insult the entire country. What can I do for you, Reverend? Yes, 'tis fine gentlemen and two ladies here. I think one of their friends may be outside. Uh, they've been apparently looking for a favorite guest from a few days ago.
Troublesome children would have been
Mm-hmm.
such a bother to this the temple. But we're given to understand you've spoken with them, or you overheard some of their discussion.
Oh yeah, I heard like little fella, spoke with the children when they were outside the place about going to some fancy little theater or something, seeing some little French dude performing. I think they call it a pavilion or something. I'm not sure.
French,
I'm not one for the theater, honestly.
French dude. You cut out on saying the name of whatever he was. French dude, something.
I don't know. He was some kind of like Francis. I honestly, French name. They're just like escaping me, like how to pronounce it. I mean, most people in my circle just call him Frenchy.
Understood. So fairly well known ongoing show.
I mean, the show here. Like if they go like for like more than a week or two, it's a good show.
Do you know if it's still ongoing? Fascinating.
I think so. I'm pretty sure I've seen some fly around town.
Awesome. Thank you. Ladies, do you have any other thoughts or questions?
Um, just a question. Would you be able to give us directions to this theater?
Ah, yeah. Well, if you go a bit like northward, like it's like few blocks there, you cannot miss it. Big old building with
Those do tend to not be small. Well, I do believe otherwise we've taken up enough of these gentlemen's times.
yeah. You know. Well, I mean, as much as I'm not exactly in friendly terms with Mr. Harrington and children's. I hope they're all well, even though if you're looking for them. I'll still include them in my
And
prayers.
we'll definitely keep it all. For his own safety, certainly. Well, shall we endeavor to find the theater, ladies?
I think that should be. Well, let's discuss our plans outside.
Excellent. Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
And,
We take our leave.
it's, giving little fancy little.
Did I freeze or did he?
We're freaky
Uh,
frozen.
You freaky
Oh, there it goes.
frozen.
Yeah.
Missed part of whatever you said.
Apologies, everybody. Like Discord has been acting extremely weird today, so quality of the stream may be iffy, but we're doing our best with technology.
So, could you repeat what you said? The genome.
Yeah. What? Who said?
Whatever was said after I said we take our leave. We
Okay.
didn't hear anything after that.
You just do his salutation. Give a sign of the cross and send you on your way, while he turns back to his let's call him friend.
A generous term.
Yeah, this is a generous term.
Good. So once we're outside, we take a look around and assume we want to make sure no one's overhearing our planning.
Yeah, I mean, most of the flock that wasn't here has dispersed, going back to their nightly business. But giving a quick look around, doesn't seem to be anybody.
Can I do a perception check just to be extra sure?
Absolutely, you may certainly do that.
So we were on our way somewhere else and decided to stop here. Where were we? Were we headed to another tavern, or were we headed to a theater in this area?
We were heading to the other tavern.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
Yeah.
the church was in the way, so
on the way.
you were originally heading to the Bearded Wench Tavern.
Okay.
3
3 successes.
successes to make sure we're fine for being watched.
You take a look around. You may see occasional person just walking their streets here and there, and some fancy automaton, but nothing. Nobody that appeared to be paying particular attention to your little group of people. Somehow, some of you being a bit more dressed down, you blend a bit more with the environment.
Tavern or theater? That is the question we face right now.
Theory of the families, the children are a fan of both. Instincts going towards theater, but I don't really see anything technically that gives one greater odds than the other from the information we have.
My only thought, he was spotted there the other night.
This is true.
Likely to have returned.
But if shows have a limited run and they enjoy the show,
I suppose it seems like it's coming down to a question of: are we looking for Mr. Harrington, or are we looking to the most likely place the children might be?
I have a suspicion.
Because the children might be more likely to go to the play at the theater, whereas Mr. Harrington appears to be more likely to be at the tavern.
I have a
I don't believe
suspicion we
you
find
can.
one, we'll find the other.
That. I also don't truly believe that the children are at either place, but
No.
whichever,
Uh,
both of them will lead us closer to them.
I'm thinking, giving you some more dubious sense of thought here. I believe Harrington is our best bet, and he would be probably more like at a bar than at a theater. Is the theater on our way to the bar, or back the
It'd
other
be
way?
like it would be a completely different part of town.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be
Um,
a very long detour.
well, based on the descriptions, go ahead.
I have a question about the theater.
Yes.
Is this like theater, or is this more a place where you get a midnight show?
A bit of
Well,
both, to
they
be honest.
specifically mentioned a different. They
Uh,
had a different location.
yeah. I mean, there's multiple locations where you can get a midnight show in town. But it does serve, based on your general knowledge. I mean, most of you have been in part of this town for quite a long time. Um, probably seen a few flyers in your day. It is an actual proper theater. Now, is it a grandiose location where when you be seeing like equivalent of amazing like Shakespearean play? Absolutely the fuck not. It's like
Basically,
you're it's
low rent
It's like
variety
you're
show.
off Broadway.
yeah, it's off Broadway. It's like the step above like the Improv House. It's where somebody that's like trying to really make a name for himself is going.
It's a they did mention it was some French guy that was the
Yeah.
show was there recently. So.
Yeah.
And they specifically mentioned a separate building for the horror houses.
Can we make a general
I don't think
knowledge
they were meant to be known.
check or something to see if we can think of a recent French performer at this theater?
Absolutely. Just do roll me a general knowledge. Um,
Um,
Ooh. 4 successes. My dice like me this evening. A change for once.
yeah, I mean, you've probably heard, among your little circle, people looking for, necessarily, talent, either talented or budget-friendly seamstress for stage costume. In your circle, you did hear about a small production. You don't exactly remember the name of the play because most people don't, but you did hear about a little gentleman named Francis Dubois, who was apparently the playwright and he's apparently a very gust person with a big ego because he's a playwright and the main actor in his own play, and so.
that sounds fairly close. I was going to just say, if we were talking about remembering posters or signs or any wordage, I've got the addict memory feat. So basically, if I've seen it, I know it.
Yeah,
Number,
you have
so-
seen it. It's not something that one would pay most attention to. It was probably lost on billboard among other things.
If I think about it, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, if you really try to dig your memory, you would have seen a poster about
Sorry, I
this
keep
probably
kicking
a
my-
week ago.
Mhm. Okay, so knowing what between Basil and Alexandra remembered, what do you guys think? Do we want to go to a bar and find dwarf gentlemen, or check out the show?
We seem to be leaning towards the idea that the more reliable person to find would be Mr. Harrington, and he's more likely at the bar. So
Nothing
I
else.
would-
He'd be someone to check off our list of suspects, which would
That's
be
true
unfortunate.
too.
Because it would be unfortunate because we don't really have anyone else right now on that list of suspects. Well, other than the parents themselves, but that's always such a problem.
But he could always lead us to a new suspect.
Very true. To the bar then?
To the tavern.
To the bearded
Waving.
wench.
Yes. Off we go.
All right. So as you're shuffling your way through London Street, crossing paths with various late night denizens that live in this part of town. You know, some a bit more proper than others. Carriage, and you meet all the new fancy technology that the new more recent age brought. Besides steam car, there's also some what I can only expect. You see like those like wind up doll, like there's some larger size one here and there, and some show house. Some people like trying to use those as just the, those wavy inflatable tube men, but it's the steampunk equivalent. It's a little robot that winds up here and there and trying to get attention to business.
I think one of my family's factors builds those. I don't remember. Oh, some model of them.
I mean, some models do look familiar. Some look also like knockoff versions.
Yeah.
Some bit
It's
more
a growing
defective.
industry.
Exactly. There's that's what happens when you don't make sure that you get the copyrights on a certain specific model. There's always going to be somebody trying to do the same thing. Either sometimes better,
Mostly
sometimes
munitions.
Sometimes
Well,
for,
mostly in munitions, but you have to diversify, isn't it?
That's right. That's why Samsung does like fridge, computers, and tanks. Which is true.
Yep. It's like Yamaha, motorcycles and pianos. Okay.
Exactly. Diversify. It's important to have a wide portfolio.
Anyway, Bearded Wench.
But eventually, the smell of the tame become a bit more stronger as you approach the docking area, where most of the ship that come in and out of London are many sailors, either off and on unemployed, walking the street with a few common folk around here. You do eventually come across what I can only describe as a dive bar, to be polite. It is an establishment. It is standing. You're not exactly sure how, because from the outside, you're surprised that this thing did not fall on itself. And there's little sign hanging by only like one single chain because the other one broke. And you see like this figure of him, what would be a woman, but with a big ass beard. Yes, it does appear to be, what most people refer as the bearded wench. Either that is the official name or just, the name that the people gave because of the sign. Who knows, because there's no marking. But yeah. This place,
I
is...
don't think I'd even need half of what's in my pocket to knock this place down.
Yeah.
Now look ourselves over. We would stand out quite a bit, most likely, compared to any of the patrons of this place or anyone that would think of venturing in, wouldn't we?
Most likely.
I love the hesitation to be like, yeah.
Yeah, even an unlimited wardrobe would not allow me to be able to dress down that far.
I don't know. Don't underestimate. I do have some skill in disguise. If we were wanting to blend in more, I always have some things on me. I'm sure we could come up with something to allow us to be a little more fit in. I don't know that people in this place would necessarily talk to us. I have some friends in places like this, but it's also looking like a bank that's being ready to be robbed and walking into a den of thieves.
Well, disguises may help. Not sure how much disguising is possible.
Why do you think I care to settle with the things? Takes some creativity. Or we could go back to my lab and there's wardrobes. The theater would have a plentiful supply of things. Go back there and come back. But I do have some items to make do if necessary. I'm not saying it would be a perfect job and you wouldn't recognize yourself, but it might bring us a few steps closer to being
The thing is, I
unnoticed.
don't think we can make it to the theater and back in this
Oh no,
evening.
that was more intended as a joke. I'm not very good at those side. Um,
Just
just
need
a
a
thought.
quick. Oh,
Yeah.
just so you a quick look around. Like, are we getting a lot of looks?
I mean, most people here are either busy doing business or way too pissed drunk to give a fuck.
Okay.
It is, it's this part of town. Sailor around here, around these parts, for the, people come and go. People, will, travel and come to the dock and disembark. Sometimes they take a wrong direction and come here. So, fancy folk are no average folk. They've seen pretty much everything under the sun in this place.
It's up to you. Just questioning how true answers will get, or
Well,
attempt to rob us, or run. I don't know.
I think all we need to do is at least see if Mr. Harrington is in here and maybe talk to the barkeep, see if he's been spotted recently. And, well, we know he's been spotted recently, but see if we can get any information out of the barkeep. But we don't really have to talk to that many people.
There's
We
also, and particularly pointing to Zafine, reputation to be considered. You being seen in a place such as this, do you care?
This is true.
Or do you care to wait outside? Or be disguised,
I'm not
or
certain. I would be more comfortable being disguised and entering rather than standing around outside with a metaphorical beacon above my head screaming, "Rob me, please." And while I can defend myself, it doesn't seem like the most prudent action to invite such altercation.
Disguises and
But yes, I agree that if we go in, or at the very least if I go in disguised, we can certainly make inquiries, and a little bit of cash never hurts the inquiries.
very
it's
true.
true.
Which, oddly enough, I can assist in that aspect.
I do have some coin as well if necessary. I'm here. Sure, even a halfpenny around here do wonders. So,
That certainly it would probably wouldn't take much cash to to generate a volley of information.
so for our
Useful or
reputation,
useless or otherwise.
yeah. So for reputation's sake, I assist with the frame. Alexandra, if you wish. Not, no hard feelings. Offering of services.
I'm sorry, you squished the last part of what you just said.
Oh, said just an offering of services. If you're comfortable being seen in a place like this, that's fine as well.
I think I might take you up on your disguise offer.
I find this kind of a out of the way corner where there's fewer or nobody around, and with my deep pockets and satchel, go ahead and do our best to make us not look quite ourselves.
Yeah, easy enough. You can probably find like a little corner behind like crates or things like that around the docks that are just there waiting to be picked up by the morning. But yeah, it's easy to find a little place, just hide for a moment,
Yeah.
change a few things. Is there a specific skill for?
It is a specialty for disguise.
All right then. just give me like it is a specialty. It is technically a skill, right?
Yeah,
All
it's a
right.
skill. I've got 5
Just
ranks in it.
just roll for it, just to see how well of a job you managed to do. I mean, since everybody's here is willing and most people here are drunk, it's not gonna be too difficult.
Because I'm not looking to make us look at anyone specific. I'm looking to make us
Yeah,
look like not
exactly.
ourselves and fit in sort of here.
We're at the very
3
least trying to
successes.
disguise a class here.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to make us fit in,
Yeah.
and nobody would rightfully suspect us as being us.
Yeah, easy enough. Like,
So 3 successes out of.
yeah, easy enough. I mean, you're still, more or less looking like yourself. Just, somebody, from upper society would need to, like, not only, like, double, triple look to actually, oh, yes, I actually know that person.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you got a double.
Also, the fact that I'm a gnome. Who's going to expect a high-class gnome?
Exactly, most people don't expect that. It's usually Eldrin, because those, fancy bastards.
Yes.
All right, but yeah, it is. You're fairly confident that you're able to, just arrange things just enough that you would fit in a bit more.
Wearing a different, more disheveled hat.
That's right.
My jacket's inside out. So
No,
threadbare.
A simpler hairdo.
just change your walk a little bit and you're good. But yeah, confident.
So, well, let's go take a drink, shall we, ladies?
Yeah.
Doing his best to disguise his voice, however realistic.
Perfect.
He's more doing it for practice.
I like that plan. It's a good plan. And so, as you approach as a group, the Bearded Wench Tavern, lovely establishment, you do, as you approach, there is, a fine gentleman, probably a bit too inebriated, being tossed out of the building. And there's, a lot of ruckus inside. It is, a place buzzing with activity and noise, and if you thought, the thing smelled bad, the inside of the building is even worse. Not only the
Piss, vomit, and shit.
yeah, the classic trio of the smell of vomit, alcohol, and unwashed sea dog. What you usually expect a sailor's tavern to smell like. Yeah, that's those unfamiliar with such smell hits you hard, and it takes a bit of resolve to not just back out, but you're determined, and as you're walking in, you can hear from afar like this very very crowded place. You don't expect such a piss hole to have so many people and patrons, but yeah, it's pretty popular around here. You do hear and see the sign of what appeared to be a fight happening a bit closer to the bar, and you see this massive, large ogre just laughing his ass off at the fight. And for those that have a bit more height, you're able to see through the crowd a dwarven gentleman beating the living hell out of this larger sailor man. You would expect and things to be around, especially considering that this dwarven gentleman, is more or less finely dressed. You don't expect such person to beat the living shit out of a sailor. But yeah, that's exactly what's happening over there, as this ogre is laughing his butt off watching this, and eventually tossing the now unconscious sailor out of the bar.
Although I am not tall, does the dwarven gentleman fit the descriptions we've gotten?
I mean, he does look like a fancy dwarven gentleman that you may have vaguely heard of. Yes. If you will all roll me difficulty 3 perception, because it is extremely noisy in here. to be able to better discern information around here.
Oh no! Well, that sucks.
Ooh.
I got 1 success and then 2 successes on the difficulty die, so that's a -1 success.
Okay, three difficulty.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a friend, it might just, your fine gnomish upper class nose
Got a
that may
one.
not be, used to that. But yeah, it's distracting.
I had 2 successes and 1 success on a failure, so cumulative total of 1 success.
Same.
All right. You're mentioned like just maybe over here, a bit over like the noise and the massive laugh of this big person. As the bartender, bring a full pitcher of beer to the dwarven gentleman. Well, here you go, Mr. Harrington, sir. And you see them like
It's like,
you see them, sitting at the bar, just having a time after, beating the living hell of that sailor. But yeah. What do you wish to
oh,
do?
looks like theater wasn't the only place to get a show, and this was a better bet.
Quite the event. Shall we?
Oh, and dear. Eat. First I'll get a couple of drinks.
Yes, might as well.
Let's approach.
Yeah, they're at the bar, so I'll go up to the bar.
Do we want to
Kinda.
do the thing where we each sit on different sides of him?
Sure. I'm gonna Basil's gonna approach, kind of just trying to elbow his way into the bar, like
Yeah.
just the general attitude of like the normal, probably already half drunk person trying to shove their way to the bar.
Belly up to the bar.
Yeah, just trying to elbow their way to the front to get the bartender's attention, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, fitting right in, being half drunk here. That's, what most of the crowd is. One is just pissed drunk. But yeah, you manage to, make your way through the crowd. As, obviously after, the little fight, finish, most people are just, all right, that was fun. Let's go back and drink and disperse.
So yeah, hopefully we managed to sandwich him.
Yeah. You do approach the bar with some ease, as you see this dwarven gentleman, having pleasant conversation, with this big ogre man, and by his side, a human lady companion at the moment. Just having pleasant conversation.
Companion or companion?
Companion.
Just clarifying.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a specific identification mark, well, or attire or style. Yeah, because you need to market yourself properly. Okay, if you're gonna go in that type of business, people need to know what you're doing.
Nah, not gonna fair amount of streetwise. I don't think it's
Exactly.
don't need them holding signs.
Yeah, you don't need to help on side. You know that for a couple of shillings, this lady can give you a good time. And probably if all right. So, but yeah,
Alexandra, we don't have time for that. Maybe later.
I hate you so much.
no, you don't.
Sorry, I know I'm bright red right now. So what happens when you're ace on the internet?
And we broke talk twice.
Thanks.
I should add a calendar in
job.
chat where like, did we break talk this time? Yes, we did. But yeah, you approach him. They're just there, like drinking ale and having a good time. As the little dwarven gentleman is just readjusting his jacket and things.
Does he look
Fine.
pickpocketable?
I mean, he's probably one of the fancier gentlemen in the establishment. Although it is a dangerous place. What did he do?
So, for once, I failed the resolve not to... 0 successes on the resolve not to try to pickpocket the guy we're trying to get information out of. Does he have, like, a visible pocket watch chain or anything that might be like, this is what I'm going after? Or is it just like, he's wearing fancy clothes?
He's wearing fancy clothes, but he seems to be a very streetwise person. Not letting anything, visible and shiny dangling, if I may say so.
Okay, so it's just one of those, I'll keep an eye out, and if something seems like any kind of jewelry or anything flashes, I'll have to make that, can I snag that before he notices? Like, I really want to steal from him, but I'm not seeing anything really easy to get yet.
Do we see?
Looks like he's got things pretty well nailed down.
Do we see her going for trying to pickpocket this guy?
I mean, with your average, like
not yet, because I'm not trying yet.
Like, with your
She's
average
just eyeing him down. We're all just watching him. As far as we know, she's just eyeing him to get his measure.
Yeah. And pickpocketing the wrong person in this part of town is a very dangerous business.
What?
Especially when there's an ogre right there.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So I'll settle up them with half sloshing a drink. It's like, fight. I didn't catch the start. The being an ass and deserving. There was there money to be made.
And you turn around and look at you like, a little bit of all, if I may say. Being, coming around talking smack and all that shit. So, thought, I'd tell that, I'd show that sailor boy that, this little dwarfman doesn't take any shit from anybody here. And honestly, he did not miss much. It was a very short and sweet fight. You may see him and his buddy outside, pissing drunk. Right, Tom? And he, just nudged the ogre. Like, right, that was fun. And Tom, he seemed like a big, very, very scary person. But just with his demeanor, sometimes just shift to, the most big, sweetest, dumb fuck you ever seen. But can also, mess you up if you, piss him off.
Oh.
I haven't seen you around here. First time coming by?
Just drifting through, trying a different, beer holes, if you can call it that.
Hi.
Oh,
Good place for
always
to meet people.
somewhere new.
You meet interesting people, for sure.
Oh, I don't know what do you mean by that?
Wow. But, just by looking at you, I can tell you're like a very interesting lady there. And even though, is fondling his companion, he doesn't shy away from, almost flirting.
See, now he's going for the challenge.
Was it Mr. Harrington? I heard was your name.
That's right.
Interesting. I think I've heard of you before.
I'm well known in these
That's
parts.
the guy. I think that was the one the church fellows said kids were harassing him or something.
And
We stopped at the what was the name of the church?
True Path?
Path.
Yeah. Where was somewhat new members of the True Path, and someone mentioned Harrington and had been problems with children harassing them. They were following you. Apparently, that's true. You know, it seemed family type, not to.
And you can see, like, you mentioned, like, the church, and, you mentioned children. And it's like, putting two and two together, and he's looking at you, like, all like, all right, what you want?
Why do you assume we want something?
Well, I'm
Because he's not an idiot.
like the tall fellow here say, I'm not, I was not born last rain, if you know what I mean. I'm not stupid here.
I'll flag down the bartender and get him and Tom another drink.
Appreciate it.
Oh, I was gonna, do that, thing where you walk a coin across your knuckles with a shilling. Take out a shilling and just walk a coin across my knuckles.
Is it your shilling or is
Just
it his?
happen to have heard it.
Is it your shilling or is it his?
At the moment, it's mine, because I have not tried to make a check to pickpocket him
Okay.
yet.
Yeah.
That would have been
We
funny.
might make that on the way out. Look, I might give him the shilling and then pickpocket it back.
Such a good way to make sure there's something in the
Because
pocket.
then I know he's got something
Yeah.
worth Then I know he's got something
That
worth
is very
stealing.
good point.
Look, I mean, if the priest got upset, it's not my problem. I mean, all I did was telling the kids to look at the man and the fancy trapdoor that just apparently fine fake gentleman is using to make some of his fancy miracle.
Trip.
It was all in good fun. Honestly, great fun.
I literally missed part of that because I didn't know you were talking in character. You said something about a trapdoor in a mirror.
He noticed that he was telling
Yeah.
he was pointing out to the kids the trap
Yeah.
door where the guy was doing
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry.
essentially, they were just to do a quick summary, just to revert back to what the Reverend would have told you. Essentially, the children, the little children would have, essentially, in front of all the flock, pretty much call bullshit on, whatever the Reverend was doing, making fun of him and calling him a fraud,
Okay.
and pointing out that some of his thing was, fake.
Gotcha. Sorry.
But it's alright. The internet connection has been absolutely shit tonight, so
Yeah.
something may have been missed.
Yeah. So,
so Mr. Harrington, what
Yeah.
does the name Doyle mean to you?
I mean, if you're talking about the wee little fella, I know them. Show them around town a good time. But you know what? Like we used to do here and there. With the cousin and all that. But one night they just they not show up. Honestly, I'm not
what
too
night
worried.
was that they didn't show up?
Sorry, what do you say?
What night specifically was that where they didn't show up?
I mean, I didn't see them last night. And the night
But you
before.
were supposed to.
So.
That'd be 2 nights ago if we're talking about when the Is
Yeah.
that matching up with when the kids went missing, or when matching up with the next night?
It matching up with when they when it disappear.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I'm not too worried about them. They seem to be able to, be quite smart. Be taking them themselves. I mean, they be fanciful, but they're not dumb in the brain.
Did they seem
Having-
particularly?
Go.
Of the wonders of the evening that you did show them, did they find anything particularly fascinating that you think they might have gone to venture to on their own? After your escorting? Never returned home.
Sorry, like it cut a lot. From what I understand, if they,
I'm asking if the children seem to be particularly fascinated or enamored with any of the other places or things that this dwarf might have shown them that they might have decided to go back to on their own, thinking they could handle it, or if there's anything the dwarf noticed caught their eye.
I mean, from what I see, I mean, they to be and to be wide smart and to they like to go around town. Obviously, I'm not able to show them all. So if one night decide, like this lady the old Arrington here, and say like, what, fuck this, we're just gonna go on our own way. Leave the dwarf behind. His short stumpy leg are just gonna keep us back. That's mighty fine with me. Right, Tom? I mean, you remember that? It's like, yeah, I mean, I remember like meeting them on a few occasions. They seem to be like nice kids for the most part.
So they didn't have mention of where they were going without you. They're just off on their trips about town.
Honestly, I can't really tell. I mean, honestly.
Can I roll empathy or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, absolutely. Can roll empathy just like to get like the general read of the people that are around Miss Arrington at the moment, which is Tom, and the Lady of the Night, whose name we don't know yet.
See if he himself is making up shit.
Yeah, and they're fairly all difficult people to just read in general, so it'd be like a difficulty tree. It's gonna be like yeah.
Difficulty 3?
Yeah.
I just failed complete. That's all.
All right.
I got a success on. I got a success on the difficulty and no success on it.
All right.
I cannot read people.
I got a success, and then the black dice failed me.
Yeah.
We believe whatever we're being told.
Yeah.
Great. Can I, on a separate note, could I have done a perception check, like kind of eyeing this guy up and down to see if I can notice any kind of like association with any of the organizations that I can think like run through my head?
Sure.
I like perception. perception is good. Oh geez, I almost
That's
broke my dice
what I'm
tray.
hoping for.
Just gonna look on my notes on them to see if they have any specific association.
I almost just broke my dice tray. That'd be really bad.
Yeah. And those with more knowledge of the streets and things like that. If you could just like give me like a general knowledge, just to see if any people's general reputation you may have heard may ring you back.
Oh.
General.
Yeah, you look at Mr. Arrington up and down. He seems to be the kind of person that doesn't seem to fondly associate himself with anybody in particular. He seems to be very, for lack of better word, flexible in his the people that he deal with. Just it's just good for business.
2 successes on the general knowledge check.
Yeah.
3 on general
One on the
knowledge.
general knowledge.
Yeah. Basil and Alexandra. You were like, you might think about it, since, the other day you've been like, probably like thinking Arrington. We ever heard that name before, It's been probably in the back of your mind while, we're focusing on the Doyle children for the most part. You know that Arrington, this dwarven gentleman, he's has some standing in the community, more or less. Most people know him as Jack of all trade. You may have some of you may have crossed him for some legitimate business. Some may have heard of his his less than legitimate business as well. Word on the street that he probably has a few things around town here and there, but no particular association. May have some claims that he may have worked with the Illuminate Church. Some may have some of association with some of the various mobs around town near Limehouse. So, but yeah, from what he's a jack of all trade, and some shit that he does is legit. Some shit that he does is not. He gotta make a coin.
So you can't think of anywhere these children might be hiding or any particular troubles they might have gotten into.
I mean, not that I can think of. What about you, big guy? I mean, like, have you seen them yesterday and all? Like, you see, like, Tom look around. Like, I mean, honestly, those were like good kids. I don't think they would have been in like some kind of trouble, you know. No, yeah.
Think of anyone that might try to get to their parents through the children.
I mean, if they're like rich kids, most likely. I mean, you know what the Arrington deal in business, right? And not the Arrington, but Doyle. My bad. It was a weird DM slip here. I mean, it's not all just sugar and spice that come from the east from them. It's also occasional souvenir.
So, but do you have any? In the circles you might have traveled, do any names pop to your head that into that sort of business, trying to get leverage for these spices and such?
Yeah, not to my knowledge. But seem like very fine people that I like to finish my ale with my buddy here. You know,
Well, if you can think of anything else about the Doyle children, that would be most helpful. After all, we don't want to have to assume things about what you've been doing.
hey, we know what they know about these people that assume and snoop around. Dangerous around here. I mean, all seem like fine folks. Don't want you to get into sort of trouble.
Oh, and definitely not. Well, after all, we're trying to keep some children out of trouble. No trouble.
Anyway, enjoy the bar. I'm just gonna go for
We'll leave you to
a walk in the piss, right? And you see chug his beer. All right, big guy, let's go. And he slapped the lady's butt like a fine gentleman that he is. And yeah, he seems to be on his way.
You completely ignored my question, my statement.
Oh yeah,
No, he kind of responded to it. You can pay. He responded by threatening us. So did all three of them walk away, or just Harrington
just
and
Arrington and Big Tom. The lady of the night seems to be staying there at the moment, and she just look around and just watch him like leave.
Alexander? No?
I say we follow.
Oh, okay. I mean, you seemed interested earlier. Thought I'd ask. Uh, speak to the evening quickly before we leave.
Going for the record
So
tonight.
Sarud!
He was there. That's enough. To acknowledge you, my lady. You obviously had the discussion. Two elder children that were formerly of Mr. Harrington's association. Have you seen any such around?
You're talking to the lady of the night.
Yes.
All right. She looks around. She looks at him leave.
Mm-hmm.
Just follow me. Like, I just want it's too crowded here. And she brings you. I mean, she's not leaving the establishment. Just like a quieter corner, if there's such thing.
a less obvious place.
Yeah, you know, where it would appear that you're doing business, but may
Mhm.
not be doing business.
No, I gesture for Alexander. Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead. Follow.
I mean, I'm not, sure, I'm not certain of all, but I do think that, although Mr. Arrington here seems to be, honest and forthright when he speaks, he's quite good at, being charming, and I think I'm not sure exactly how or with who, but I think he's involved with the disappearance of the people that you've been looking for.
Perhaps
I'll
it's
say
like
I think he's the one that took them away, but I don't have I don't know I have the details. It's just something that I heard him like overspeak with one of the gentlemen the other day. Um,
Can you describe or name this other gentleman?
I couldn't really tell. He was wearing it was very very dark. It was out in the alley after like they visited Mr. Harrington. Did his usual visit in the pub, and
Did he look at all like this? And can I describe Robert? His name is Robert Doyle.
yeah, uh, not the gentleman that you're describing there. Seems to be at least not the person I think of. No, um,
How often do they meet? Have you seen them frequently, or is it just once recent?
it was just fairly fairly recent. I mean, I think I've seen them around a few times. Discussing business. Mr. Harrington, tends
Did
to
you
deal with
just
many
you
things.
said you didn't get a good view though? You couldn't describe it.
I don't think so. And I mean, if anything, you might, get more information from following up with Mr. Harrington himself there secretly. Yes, from what I hear, a little warehouse nearby, but
Warehouse nearby. Do you
yeah,
happen to know an address? For them? And I'll be going through.
yeah. And she like, give you
Have,
like she give you an address. It's not very far from here. It's maybe like a few like a street further. Uh, Look, if anything, I do not talk to you tonight, okay?
no idea what you're talking about, and I'll set a
Certainly not.
um, stack of shillings. I have a bribery skill,
Mm-hmm.
which generally means I have the ability to read what would be an appropriate amount to pay people off. So at a best guess for what would probably cover fair evening's work for her. If shillings will cover that, I will.
Yeah, like a few shillings, whatever you can spare. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I'll leave her like 3 or 4. Again, you want to give me a number later? I can deduct it. I've
mhm.
got a fair amount of money apparently.
Any
So
any last things you can think of to tell us about Mr. Harrington or the children that he seems to have gotten himself involved with?
Honestly, if I mean that's even like wild for Mr. Harrington for doing such thing. It's he's been involved with many things, but this is beyond what he usually does. So there's probably something bigger out there, forcing him to do such a job. I mean, he's not pleasant man or good man by any mean, but he's not usually so horrible. So
I will like palm the money onto the table in a way
just
where it's like
Yeah.
largely hidden from view, but so she can see it. It's like, it's a terrible shame you weren't able to help us at all. Perhaps for the viewing public, you ought to slap one of us before we leave.
Mm-hmm.
She's-
And just leave her the money
Yeah.
and wait,
Just
expecting her to slap me or something.
yeah. And she gave you the biggest slap.
And I
Just
fall right.
just do be careful.
Well, sorry to offend, my lady. And so,
I mean, to each their kink, right? If they want to pay a hooker to slap them, not gonna judge.
yeah, he's doing it to make sure that people think we got in an argument.
Yeah. Yep.
And make a big show of apologizing drunkenly. So I'm totally sorry. I thought you were someone else. And wait for the other two to join me back outside.
As we exit the bar, can I just take one last look around to see if I can just spot anything remotely
Yep.
helpful?
Sure.
Can I take a last look around to see if there's anything worth stealing that's not nailed down?
Sure.
You walk out with a chair.
What is that? That's 7 to perceive.
2.
I got 3 successes to find something worth stealing.
And that beats my 2 successes perceiving anything odd, so I don't think I see you stealing.
Yeah. I mean, outside of the the establishment, you don't see. You may like see a distance, like Miss Harrington and Tom just walking off, and a few people like joining and meeting them, but for nothing outside of that is worth observing. I mean, he seems to be a well-versed person, so the fact that he's meeting people is not surprising. As for shit worth stealing, I mean that depends what you define as stuff worth stealing. They may be some crude cutlery like some tankers and maybe like the occasional shilling here for people gambling at a table. But
Oh, absolutely stealing whatever money is left unattended.
yeah,
If that's all there is,
Yeah.
that's what I'm going after, is someone's
As-
pot that they're not watching carefully.
I mean as
Or that they're too drunk to notice.
as unattended or too drunk to notice that subject to an attempt, but it is not outside of the realm of possibility. But there's obviously
At this
people
point, I'm
very
mostly-
well focused on that pod because they want to make sure that the other person on the other side of the table is not fucking them over. So
I'm glad I'm either on my way outside or outside. This will be perfect.
Not the pot, their like take that
Oh.
that they would bet from.
yeah, no, I mean they seem to be keep knowing the type of place that this is. Most people would be careful about what they're doing because there's scummy people around usually. But
Pickpockets and stuff.
it is not outside of the realm of possibility. We know with proper sleight of hand. It's
Alright,
also
well.
a very dangerous place to be. So, and gnome they do float.
We all float down here.
Yeah.
Knew someone was going to say it.
Well, I got a success on my hide and sneak to try to palm, just some loose coinage.
All right. Let's see if anybody's gonna perceive that shit. So, as you're about to, just approach, to get some, your nimble little finger on some shellings, just pens just hanging by. You see this big meaty end just grabbing your hand. Somebody got nimble finger there. I'd be careful, lady. Somebody might think you have incur contention here.
Oh, no. It looked like it was loose from the pile. I was knocking it back into place.
And he push your hand in the wind. No. Look at you like. Well, I mean, if you know, you didn't do it as nicely, I'm sure there's a shilling in there for you. You working?
Not at the moment, actually. I'm just about to go meet someone.
Well, that's a shame.
Alexandra is working on their hide and sneak.
Somebody rolled some many success on their sneak, and they completed.
Someone please clip that and tweet that at me of just me just dying. Because this has been a night of, hi, how many times can we break tuck?
Tucking. Look at that. But yeah, your attempt, although not, overly bad, was not successful in pocketing somebody's coin. Could have gone way worse.
That could have gone horribly.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, it could.
Like, oh, we came in on a bar brawl. Let's leave on a bar brawl.
Yeah. I roll like to see if any of the people around the table notice something, and I roll like to know which one of them notice it. You got a kinder one.
We literally just seen Zephrine just flying out the door of the tavern.
Mm-hmm.
I know, I walked out on my own recognizance.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not that far behind you, despite the fact that I was many steps behind you to begin when you exited. But you know.
Yeah. You know.
I'm just gonna like, can I like roll some kind of check to like see if that just happened?
With your like general like both like you and Basil like general perception, you're both perceptive. Yeah, you could probably like notice, as the door is closing behind, like for like between patrons and all. Yeah, you've seen like your little gnomish friend, surprisingly still alive, being manhandled by a burly man.
Out of the door.
Yeah, like
Really?
Look,
There is time and
it was
place.
there.
Steal from the rich. Don't steal from. Most of these people are not.
From the heavily inebriated, those are the easiest ones to steal from.
Heavily
If you want to steal from the
inebriated.
rich, you gotta go in while they're asleep.
Steal
Yeah,
from
well,
the heavily inebriated rich.
Just standing like off to the corner, like cleaning off his disguise. It's like, what? Did something happen?
We somehow aligned ourselves very sticky-fingered people, and yet somehow they've only just barely managed to not get us in fully amounts of trouble.
No. I assume, given that I was brought on a missing persons case, there was going to be a lot of oddities. If I'm being honest, I have greater mystery is why they thought I could help, but let's do our best, shall we?
Oh, that's an absolute. I'm in the same boat of questioning how my name was brought in and how they knew about me, but that's a story for another time.
Well, I suspect if we go poking around certain warehouses, we might run into our dwarven orcish friends again.
Onwards? Also, what time of night is this?
So you essentially met like after supper.
Mm-hmm.
went to the service, which started at 6. Probably like an hour, 45 minutes for that. And if you had discussion, traveling there, I'd say it's about like 9:30, give or take.
Okay. Okay. So we have a bit of time. We have some time before it's gonna get too late in the evening.
Yeah, I mean it's still it's still very dark and all that outside, and then
Is it ever too late to poke around an empty warehouse?
One would argue middle of the night is the perfect time to poke around an empty warehouse.
I just don't think how empty this warehouse is actually going to be.
Well, it depends on if this is the same direction that we saw Tom and Mr. Harrington going towards or not, or if this warehouse is in the opposite direction.
I have a feeling it's the same direction.
Well, it's what they're supposedly associated with, so.
What do we think of this boss that Harrington may have?
There's always someone calling the shots. For
With a man of his reputation, it's not hard to be purchased for a given task.
True.
yeah, I was about to say does not strike me as the mastermind type. He is the one you go to get things done. Whatever those things might have been.
Running a general knowledge check, can I think of any competitors to Doyle, to the senior head Doyle?
Yep, go for it.
Would I have any advanced knowledge on that?
Sure, give it a
Family
shot.
business.
Yep.
Ooh, jeez! I
Careful
totally
now.
don't know what dice I just rolled. Hold on. Oh my god. Excuse me while I drop all my dice.
I got some jumpy dice too, after.
I got 2 successes on the general knowledge.
3 successes on the general knowledge.
Okay. And Basil?
1.
1. So, I mean, in the type of business that Doyle deal, which is, trades of many things coming from the east, it may, be sugar, spice, and other things, there's obviously multiple possible rivals around town. Many of them may, be in some of your family or at least related in some shape or form with some people in the upper echelon that have trades in the east. A name specifically, there are many. But no, such dealings, depending on what you may be bringing back as extra, may also be cause for, oh well, you're making a lot of money and you have certain things that would be nice, right? Let's hit you where it hurts, or we want you out of business. Let's make sure that you pay us or things like that. There's any sort of business. There's always chance of rival and people trying to endure whatever you're doing. Some of you would know that just by being people in various business themselves. I'm sure that Basil, your family has probably a rival company that's like trying to cause trouble here and there, and may have try to blackmail your family or try to find dirt whenever possible, and so on for everybody. So
I guess the question is it illegal? Is it an official business? I think if we were probably dealing with a rival. The question is it a rival in legal goods or illegal goods?
if
Opposing political standings.
yeah.
Remember, this whole war is with the East.
His place in the East is well established, so there may be chance of somebody in political standing opposing that, not wanting, the British to be there, because let's face it, most people that are from there don't want British there anyway. So yeah, that is a possibility as well. if that answered the question. If not, I can try to clarify.
No, yeah, that was a. I think that was a question I asked in character to the rest of the group.
Again, business can be quite messy, and we simply do not have enough information to speculate on what Mr. Doyle may be bringing in, legitimately or otherwise, particularly otherwise. And with the
Certainly, his
current
wife
state
is
of
not
events,
forthcoming,
Alexis can hide a great many things.
and Robert has very little love for his uncle, and therefore may not have the most
Yeah.
accurate information that he would be sharing.
Yeah, the only people that you met
It's
from the Doyle
also
family
it's
were...
entirely possible everyone this evening's been lying to us. And I think we're having this conversation while we're walking.
Oh,
so
yeah, absolutely.
Safe to assume.
Yes, we were walking.
Walk
yeah.
and talk. I figure that's what you were doing, honestly. Like, most party, don't just, sit around and while they're trying to go to a destination, they usually do, like, a walk and talk deal.
Just like to verify.
Yeah.
Suddenly, we were pounced upon from the alley while we were talking, standing there.
Somebody just, like, come out of the alley with a shiv and just stab you. It happens.
Yep.
You've been poking around the wrong place.
It's the second time this Tuesday.
Standing in the wrong alley, just a little too close to the bar that Zafreen just got thrown out of.
Just have this jacket cleaned.
I just made this dress the other day.
So, yeah, I think while we're coming up with additional reasons, we still have very little actual facts. We are speculating that the children were kidnapped against their will. They may be partaking. They may have been turned against their parents. They might actually be taking a stand politically. They might have been kidnapped and sold off to one of the colonies. You don't have enough information. This warehouse is the next best step. If that doesn't turn out anything, we're going to have to start asking the same people we've already talked to further questions.
I completely
For
forgot.
all we know, they ran away from home and are staying with theater people.
I
It's also
forgot
possible.
this. I forgot to tell you all this. Putting my ear out to the streets, it's possible that the Doyle children are also involved in something of a more political nature. I heard rumors here and there of them being associated with some of the political underbelly of the city. So it's possible. It's very possible that these children may have gotten involved in the wrong thing.
Well, I'm quite jealous. Your contacts are far faster than mine. I'd put our feelers as well. I haven't yet to hear back, but that is entirely feasible. I would not be surprised. Young people, we do tend to have our opinions.
GM. Would I know of any places with my association nearby? Like any places? I know that we operate oddly. Would there be any places nearby that I would know of that are connected to my association?
Since your association, like you said, operate oddly, there's no location where people will just like gather around and do things. It might just be at the back of somebody's business here and there to discuss information and things like that. I mean, there's you do recall seeing here and there probably meeting some of your friends, associate, that there is somebody that usually works the docks. That is usually that comes by sometimes. There's also a barber nearby that you do vaguely recall that you think you went there before. No, so yeah, that if you're looking for specific people in your circle, there's some nearby. Yes.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Damn, I haven't heard back yet from any of my contacts, but regardless of my association with street contacts.
I mean,
Is
you,
that correct?
yeah, you probably would have heard back, and you would know based on somebody that did reach you vaguely. They're still looking into it for more details, just because
Okay.
they're a friend of yours, and they want they want
Mhm.
no, they're always ready to help a friend. That apparently some people would have been more or less unhappy with some of the recent acquisition from the Doyle family coming back from the east, especially from China. You did go there recently, so it is possible that some local people that were either rival or back from over those location may not be happy. Like, hey, you're going to our country and essentially stealing our shit. Because yes, this whole campaign is a hot take on the whole British Empire expanding and stealing people's shit.
Yeah, so it does make sense. The two possible options: either the children ran off on their own to accomplish something,
Mm-hmm.
or they've been taken away by someone else.
Yeah.
We don't yet have a clear picture. I've heard contacts and rumblings that set with the Doyles, and
Mm-hmm.
you've heard that the children are having political aspirations of their own. So could be both, could be neither. Could have gone off running around and fallen ill and are in the hospitals. But let's check out the lead we do have. We have this warehouse. It is nearby. If it turns out to be nothing, we burn it down and go on our way. And well,
Burning it down is quite the leap.
did I say that? Sorry.
Perhaps not that.
Is
I
Basil
feel
a secret
burning down the
pyromaniac?
warehouse.
Sorry, I just train of thought sometimes.
I mean, based on session 0.
Again, that didn't happen in this reality. Quit making presumptions.
I was like, burning it down might be a bit of a blatant public spectacle at this juncture in our investigation.
Public spectacle from the person trying to rob drunk, disreputable people at their own poker table.
Yeah. Look, that's people get thrown out of that bar all the time. We saw someone get thrown out as we were entering. That's not any new spectacle.
Mrs. Doyle did ask us to keep this somewhat discreet.
And no
The
one
rumor mill
who
is probably already flying.
Yeah, check this out. We've all the leads. Things burn down, they burn down. No, we're at the warehouse yet.
I mean, after a while, you would, get to the specific undisclosed location.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, you do see a whole warehouse. It's, for the most part, appear to be closed. It doesn't appear to be abandoned per se. It's not in so much piss poor shape, but it's not your family's warehouse. It's somebody's using it just probably do
It's a
quote unquote
legitimate
import
business,
export.
it seems to me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And there, if you look, you can probably see a bit of light inside, but
Well, I don't should have with us. You're muted there, Tucker.
I said it and then I realized I'm not talking. Perhaps we want to do this little bit stealthily.
I don't think barging into the warehouse we assume that Mr. Harrington has gone into just after we interrogate him is a good idea.
You guys still wearing your disguises, by the way?
Technically,
Probably.
I never bothered
And
to
I'm just curious if you
fix
did
it.
or you wanted to change back or not, or keep your disguises on for plausible deniability.
Plausible deniability is usually good.
Yeah. I thought of that now, having had Basil already take his off. But
Yeah.
that was an out of character question on you guys anyway. So Basil,
I mean, I
hasn't
could
seemed to
always
react.
change into my alternate outfit. Slightly better disguise in general is I wear men's clothing when I'm trying to, run away from my crime scenes.
Might be useful in this situation. In any case, shall we hide and sneak?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, why not?
Since it's fairly obscured, it's not too difficult to hide and sneak. So just give me a general hide and sneak check.
God. Let's hope I put enough into this.
Okay.
I have nothing in it.
Yikes.
I mean, you probably have dexterity, right?
Yeah, I have my 2 dice for dexterity. Succeeded all.
All right.
3 successes.
All right. Perfect. So, I will count it as more of a group check, thankfully.
Ooh.
Good to
You
hear.
got Basil just standing there. Skin. What are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where did you
Just
go?
reach up with my dwarven arm as far as I can go and just yank him down.
No. Basil, not. I mean, he has his circle and things like that, but he's not the one that, usually, sneak around too much. He keeps quiet, but, he likes it, when things sometimes makes noise. So, it happens. But thankfully, your companion, a bit more used, or at least capable of sneaking around, do help you keep a bit quiet, and you're successfully able to approach the warehouse and be near what could be like either, depending of where you want to go, either like more like the main entrance or like a side window, things like that. It is up to you. But
Oh, it's easier to sneak in through a side window.
yeah, it would be fairly
Yeah.
easily between like 2 of the building to, a few barrels and things like that to sneak around.
Again, with maybe leveraging the Steam guy back childhood experience and my demolitions expertise or whatever, looking for knowing the ins and outs of warehouses. That was the thing. Knowing basically where would be the most likely forgotten about or unpaid attention to doors or windows and stuff like that. Maybe point something like that out.
Yeah, I mean, all those, like, at least most of them have like a few side door, just, safety measure. And although, I mean, especially Victorian London, they did not care all that much for safety with, certain aspect of the lifestyle and the way they treated labor. But, they did have
like-
a few side entrances, especially, for the boss and all that. And there's usually some.
Even something maybe like, well, the wall cracks here, wall
Yeah.
would crack here or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's not a
Windows.
new building, so there's most likely a few things that may require some patchwork that you could probably find sneaking around, leading you inside with not too much problem.
Find a way in.
So taking some time, just walking around the building, you do manage to find what appeared to be a door, unattended at least, from the outside. So, would be possible entry there. And I mean, if you really want to venture, there's always a few crack and broken window way up, but a bit out of reach for the most part. I mean, you can always yeet somebody, but that's not recommended.
I mean, we have two eatable sized party members.
And I have a pretty good throwing stat.
God no! God no! God no! God no! God no!
Nothing
not-
could go
can we not-
wrong out of that.
Can we not yeet Can we not yeet the small party members, please?
It was your suggestion.
I know I was making it in jest, but I did not expect you to actually have a throwing stat.
I mean, it's
I have a very
athletics, that's the
particular set
throwing
of
stat.
skills.
Oh,
I
no,
built
there
him
is
for a
throwing.
particular
Yeah.
thing.
Can we find a good side? Can we get in a good side entrance? We have we passed our hide and sneak.
Yeah, I mean, looking around, there's that door and a few open window up there, but there's no.
You see Basil like looking as you're scouting. Basil just looking at you. You can see him doing like the mental math. Is the window?
It's like that meme of the woman with like
Yeah.
math formula, but it's just
Yeah,
Basil's
yeah.
face.
And it's very blatantly like debating which of the two of you could be.
Velocity,
Not
temperature.
not that I'm advocating this, but like of the two of us, I think Zephrine, the gnome, is probably much more eatable than the dwarf.
I mean,
Not that I'm advocating for you throwing the gnome up into the window, because that depends on her ability to catch the window sill and pull herself in, which
That
is
was
not
the-
something you want to bet on.
Just because this is Basil, he wasn't even someone catching the windowsill was not the goal. He was actually trying to defenestrate, get you through the window. Not really think.
Out the window. Defenestration
Huh?
is out. So in
Well,
defenestration,
you're going out of outside.
Going
But
through
again,
the
it
window
was
seems
just-
painful.
Again, it just crossed his mind as a physics problem.
yeah.
He was just, we need to get in.
So we go in the door.
let's do the door. Let's Three Stooges our heads in the door.
He's still. He comes along, but he's still
Zephrine,
pondering it.
Alexandra, Basil.
I mean, there's the door nearby. It's unattended, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
door.
Yeah, we all door.
Just a random thought that crossed his mind. They said they
I-
wanted in.
I regret the thing I said.
don't we all sometimes? Any of you have the ability or talents to more or less quote unquote lockpick doors?
I have lockpicking.
Woo!
Awesome.
How convenient.
I didn't.
As, this door is unattended, but
What's-
locked.
What's the associated skill with lockpick? Do we know?
Let me just double check.
I don't have the book opened. Page
Probably
102.
dexterity.
Oh yeah,
It's 102 is the page number I've written down on my character sheet. I just for
Two.
all the skills on
Yeah,
the table.
it's just
102.
Take a quick second because I did move earlier today some of my file, including my PDF, so I need to go back and reopen it because
Pick locks.
it is
Lock door can be.
it is a I
Pick
think
marks.
dexterity base skill.
It's wits.
wits.
Lock.
It's wits?
Pick.
Yep.
Pick locks is a wits-based skill,
Yep.
according to this.
Perfect. I
It's
have
page
more
108.
wits.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I mean it is an old lock, but it's still a lock nonetheless. So I'd put it at the difficulty 2, a lock, because
All right. 3 successes, no failure dice.
Woo!
like a fucking magician performing the most wonderful trick. You see Azafrine with virtually no effort, just like
He's over there doing a math problem. I'm over
Yeah.
here. All right. Oh, we can go in.
So I think I can get one of you through the. Oh, all right.
We're in the door.
Yeah, the door opens. I mean, they don't have any WD-40, so opening the door makes a bit of creaking noise, but not too much. I mean, they still need
I
to
have a
keep.
bottle can.
Yeah, I mean, they still need to keep those automaton and all those engine well, or else it exists around here, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm imagining I have deep pockets. It's entirely possible. I don't know. We didn't
Can we
ask, so.
can we Three Stooges our way into the doorway? Just
Because I love the mental picture of the Three Stooges and like or
Zafreen.
yeah like
Alexandra.
Three
We
Stooges
are
like the Scooby Doo,
stepladder.
however you want to call it, based on your preferred reference and pop culture. Uh, you see like little heads pop in, and yeah, without no problem.
If we run into anybody, though, doing this, then we have to do the musical hello, hello, hello. Hello.
It is the law. I mean, we don't make it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do the Three Stooges, you got to do the Three Stooges.
Yeah, it has been established. All right, so I'm just gonna keep your previous, Gerald, like stealth, hide and sneak, and just roll here, for walking in. You do manage to walk in, no problem. Probably keeping the door slightly ajar, so it's a quick, easy,
Doesn't slam.
get
Yeah.
out of here route. But yeah, you manage to get in. You do see a bit more like when you get different central area. There's usually like those like big warehouses, an office that's just having an overlook over the location. I mean, this place, for the most part, is a bit empty. There's, probably a few crates of various things. Mr. Harrington's more legitimate business or not, or at least to keep it as it looks like it's actually a business here. And you do see up there like just a bit of flicker of light, and you do see the silhouette of Arrington and his fellow big ogre Tom and another like little scrawny little gentleman.
We can only see silhouettes.
I mean, you can mostly silhouette. You see some shadows and things like that, but there's just enough light that you can actually see it's him.
All right, well, because you described scrawny little him.
Yeah.
My immediate out of character mind, and possibly in immediately went to, well, 14-year-old boy is kind of scrawny. Is it him? Is it one of the kids? Or is this a scrawny adult?
You can attempt to approach a bit further to know who that is. He's a bit further in the room, so.
do we need to make a new hide and sneak roll?
Because you're like getting closer, I would say so. It is becoming increasingly a bit difficult, so I would just put it at difficulty. Just a difficulty 1 check. They're seem to be occupied, so.
So I got 2s on all 4 of my regular dice. I got a success on my failure dice. So I'm at
Okay.
-1.
I
I
got
got 1 success.
I got
Okay.
2 successes.
All right. So here I was gonna play out
no.
a bit.
Oh, no.
So Alexander, you sneak in a bit. Basil, surprisingly, probably learning a bit from the previous attempt at sneaking in, doing a bit better.
It's a warehouse. I'm familiar with those.
I know that place. I know those places. It's your. If you were a ranger, it would be your favorite terrain. Zephyrin, probably just on the high of the night, being super happy to have been. Oh yeah, I picked the lock the best way I could. Do not notice a little canister just nearby, and kick it. Not hard, but just enough to
Just enough to make a noise.
just enough to make a noise, and you do see through the window Tom just turning his head around, and Arrington just looking at him and looking down, and just making a sign like go check it out, and that's where we're gonna leave it tonight. As you venture into the warehouse, sneaking in successfully, just to make just a bit of noise, to see if Tom will be able to perceive you. This big burly ogre that can probably crush people's head like watermelon.
Combat!
Oh god, are we actually gonna get into combat?
It is a possibility.
Oh god, I have nothing prepped for combat.
Basil does.
And-
Basil,
I have some extra melee weapons if you need something.
I got nothing.
And unlike
Well,
Dungeon Dragon and Victoriana, combat can be extremely dangerous and mess you up. So
Yikes.
yes.
that's gonna be interesting to see as we tune in next week for this. So again, thank you all for coming. My wonderful cast for burying me and breaking Tuck a few times. That was fun. It is all in the name of friendship and amazingness. So
That was very good.
let's
We're
see,
rating.
let's see what we could rate tonight. I'm gonna quickly have a quick look in my.
I'll also check Twitch.
If anybody has awesome suggestion, I would welcome them for sure. Actually, there's
Hold on, check.
no. Let's go with like RPG related still, but not exactly. There's Dad Davey playing Baldur's Gate 3, so make sure to give him some love. Drop him a follow. That would be super awesome. Spread GR love. We don't have a raid call, but it's just all that big love energy that we have here. So thank you very much everybody for coming, and we shall all catch you up next week, same time as per usual, for whatever may happen.
And hopefully Destructor's feeling well enough to joins us just in time for combat.
All right. Well, have a good night. Take care.
Night, everyone.
Bye.